For top seed Marianne DeRupo, the Omaha Open has been one of her favorite stops on the tour, having made the finals 4 of the last 5 years. For Michelle Feldman, Omaha represents her first TV final since creating PWBA history. For Dee Dee Davidson, it's a chance to make amends for the heartbreak suffered at the U.S. Open. For Carol Giannotti-Block and Dana Miller-Mackey, 2 of the PWBA's hottest bowlers, it's another chance for greatness. The Omaha Open is next. The sun is shining, the sky is clear, so why aren't there more people at the Central Park Mall feeding the swans? Well, the reason is they're all inside at the Maplewood Lanes to watch the Professional Women's Bowling Association's second stop of the spring tour. Hello everyone, I'm Leandra Riley, and it's actually stop number 8 of 1998, but stop number 2 of the spring season. And this second stop of the spring season brings us a lot of familiar faces very familiar to our television audience. So I'll begin with one of the most familiar, and that's my veteran broadcast partner, Jan Schmidt. And Jan, we looked at the numbers, and there's quite a few women who've been on TV, not just overall, but in 1998.
You're right, Leandra. In fact, 4 of the players have made 9 appearances already this year, and Michelle Feldman, she's the only player that hasn't made a show yet this year until today.
As I said, this is the second stop of the 1998 spring season. The first stop was the U.S. Open, and for 2 of our bowlers, it was a bittersweet experience in Milford, Connecticut.
You're right, and those 2 players being Marianne DeRupo and Dee Dee Davidson. Marianne DeRupo was a top seed going into the televised finals. Because of a format change, she finished 3rd. She put away her bowling balls and said, I'm not touching them for the next couple of weeks. Dee Dee Davidson had a commanding lead through 3 days at the U.S. Open, and as conditions changed, she faltered, did not even make the bracket finals. She was so devastated, she actually took an extended vacation out of the country and had opted at that time to possibly not bowl this event. She signed 3 days before we started. And I have to point out to those of you at home, these players go through everything that all the other athletes do, the ice skaters, the golfers, the tennis players. They have made a lifelong commitment to this sport. They've dedicated years of time and hours of practice. They've gone for sports psychiatrist help, and they've put in a lot of dollars. Families have made a lot of sacrifices, and I have to point out that it's very hard, from my standpoint, leaving for months at a time, knowing, hey, am I going to miss something good that my family's doing, or what's going to happen while I'm gone? So they've made a lot of decisions, and they're out here, and they're working very hard, and when an avalanche comes crashing down and closes your tunnel, you can make 2 choices. You can either just say, forget it, it's not worth it, I'm going home, I'm done with this, or you can fight back like Marianne and Dee Dee did this week, and you can show that it is indeed all worth it.
Not only is it worth it, there's nothing like success to get revenge. So they stormed back from that disappointing finish at the U.S. Open to rally to the top 5 here in Omaha, Nebraska. Well, we're ready to bowl. Our first match features Carol Giannotti-Block against Dana Miller-Mackey. Dana Miller-Mackey is going to bowl first, our television pair, 25 and 26.
We're going to see both sides of the lanes here. Up, ball on the right.
Coming up light. Got an opening shot there for Dana. In the 3-5. This spare was chopped quite a few times this week. She needs to cover both pins with the ball. She's changing to her spare ball here.
Carol Giannotti-Block from Morley in Perth, West Australia. Has been on the Pro Tour for 11 years, and a long way from home.
Boy, has she come on strong the last couple of years.
Coming on strong here in Omaha. You know, twice already this season she qualified first and finished second 3 times.
She's a 5-step approach. All field this player. She's playing extremely far left. Watch how far she's sliding near the left channel, setting the ball down at about the 5th to 6th arrow.
As she knocks down 7 on lane 25. Her average of 227 is second highest, quite a high average of our 5 television finalists.
It is, however, she only won 14 matches as opposed to the top Marianne winning 16, Michelle Feldman winning 15. So it played a big part in where they finished for the TV finals this week. So she flattened that ball out to shoot that spare. That was a big key this week because the lanes were very dry across the middle. And if you couldn't flatten the ball down, in particular on the right-hand lane for a right-hander, they couldn't get far enough left to shoot those spares if you threw a hook at it.
Again, she knocks down 8. And she moved over to lane 26 for the first time. She finished 4th in Lubbock, 1st in Jacksonville, finished 2nd in Altamont Springs, and now she is for her 4th TV appearance of 1998.
So she's the only one today that could be her first two-time titleist.
Yes.
Yeah. For 98. You notice she has that extra hole there. She used to put her index finger in the ball. She's not doing that anymore.
Oh, that looked
as
good,
I mentioned, it's very difficult to shoot the spares. A lot of hook in the middle of the lane, and that ball hooked. This is her spare ball. It shouldn't really hook, but look at that. It's breaking. And even the spare balls, the plastic balls, they were hooking this week. So if you couldn't flatten them out, it was difficult. It was easy to do that. Chop the spare.
A little distraction from the crowd, so she's going to step back and recompose herself. As you can see, it is disruptive if somebody makes a gesture.
You see, that ball does not have the index finger hole because this is a newer ball she drilled. She was using it to take strain away from her wrist, but decided that she couldn't really extend the ball down the lane good enough. So she went to just the 2 fingers. She's much better since then. Ball coming in about half pocket. See the 4-pin lay down in the channel. It wasn't really a solid 7-pin.
So spare, open, spare to start things off for Dana Miller-Mackey. A strike and a spare for Carol Giannotti-Block as she moves into the 3rd frame, up on 26.
That's like, whoa. And not a good break there, leaving the 4-5-7. She'll have to fit the ball in between the 4 and the 5 and hope the 4 bounces off the wall and takes out the 7. She's playing an extremely deep angle. Most of the players did this week. Actually had to walk around the ball return on the right-hand lane.
As you can see, it's her 5th TV appearance this year, but she has yet to win. That's beautiful. That's something you dream about at home. That was lovely.
She did that perfectly. Fit it right between the 2 pins, and the 4-pin bounced off the wall.
I'll tell you, I hope the VCRs were set for this one. This was lovely.
Well, here it is. If they weren't, get it now. The ball fit between the 4 and the 5, 4-pin off the wall. That's why you need sideboards.
Look at that. Just kicks it out. That's great.
Imagine if you didn't have those sideboards there. No chance.
Back to action. It's an 8 on lane 25 in the 4th frame, working on the spare.
She's light again. The conditioner may be carrying down a bit for her. She may have to make a little bit of move to the right or move her eyes right to catch the dry a little bit more. May ask why the players are playing there. Because the lanes were dry in the track area and they had to move left to find the conditioner.
It was taking a little bend, but it hung on long enough. So we'll be back with more exciting action here at the Maplewood Lanes in Omaha, Nebraska. Don't go away. Round 1 continues right after this. The Omaha Open is brought to you by AMF Bowling Worldwide, the largest owners and operators of bowling centers in the world and one of the leading makers of bowling products. AMF always means fun. And by MasterCard. There are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And we are back. This is Dana Miller-Mackey in the 4th frame. Spare, open, spare sums up her first 3.
Beautiful shot. Dana not as far right as Carol is left, but she's sliding somewhere around 25, actually right at the center, projecting the ball to the left. She trails by 8 pins. This is an interesting match, Landry. You mentioned 2 of the hottest hands, and in fact, these 2 players are the only 2 that are in the top 5 in all the categories, average points and earnings, right? And they're right now the forerunners for Bowler of the Year. I know it's early in the year.
This is Dana's 18th year as a pro, so experience really playing a factor in 1998.
Real light hit, pushing the 9 and the 10 down at the last minute.
I never saw pins fall so slowly. Okay, Carol Giannotti Block is down by 2 as she steps up in the 5th, working on a spare. Carol Giannotti Block says the equipment fits her game. She's made 11 of 15 TV appearances.
You know what, I mean, I feel pretty tired at the moment, but I mean, once I get on a roll, it just feels great, and I think my stamina from just bowling good just keeps me going. But after this, 2 more weeks to go, and I'm looking forward for a good rest when I go back to Australia.
And she said that's exactly what she's going to do over the break. Let's go back to Australia. It's a 7 relax again, it's easy for her.
She was light, so she's made a move now, came high. I asked Carol about being burnt out. How did she not allow that to happen? She made 5 out of 8 shows this year, 11 out of 15 since August of '97. And most times that wears on a player. But like she said, she's tired. But I guess when you're bowling that well, it kind of keeps your adrenaline going, keeps you moving.
She marks in the 6 off the strike.
It's a good way to shoot your spares for those of you at home that can do it. If you can break your wrist back like that, flatten it out. It's the best way to shoot it. Max score, you see it in the corner for Dana Miller-Mackey, would be 257. Maybe if she struck out.
That's not going to happen. She is working on 2 strikes now, but leaves 7.
F7 again. Good to see it. Getting about to the 7th board or so, coming back. Half pocket, 4-pin lays in the channel.
So the 7 was missed altogether on this shot. On her last strike, it was late on the 10-pin, and it teetered right at the end. Like that.
She's not driving hard enough. Either she didn't catch the ball real good, in other words, get enough lift with her fingers, or sometimes your ball speed is a little fast, cause the ball not to hook.
Ball speed's a little fast, so you can't go too fast in the sport. I think a lot of people forget that. You can go too fast.
For her game and how she's lined up, if her ball speed gets too fast, it would cause the ball to slide too much. She could be experiencing some carry down too. Let's see if she makes a move. Did get that ball to finish.
So Dana Miller-Mackey and Carol Giannotti Block still are going toe-to-toe here in our opening round at the Omaha Open. Okay. It is the 7th frame for Carol Giannotti Block. She is working on a spare. In the 7th. It's still a 1-pin game here. It's anybody's game.
Carol seems to be okay on lane 26. She has 3 strikes and that 1 light split, but she was in the pocket just light. It's lane 25 she's struggling on, light twice, then high. She's going to need to make a move again, somewhere in between the last 2 shots on that lane. You mentioned that she likes her equipment. She wanted to say, she's on track staff now. Wanted to thank them, really likes the equipment.
That's 2 in a row for the first time for Carol Giannotti Block. That's something I want to talk about, is getting on the pro staff. We have over 50 bowlers here today. We've had 60 and 70 in previous tournaments. About how many of the bowlers are on professional staffs?
Maybe about 20.
So it's a very competitive position.
Dana Miller-Mackey's on AMF staff. Very happy with that. You know, they want players that are going to make shows.
Sure. And she's doing it, and this other lady's doing it.
Exactly.
2 in a row for Dana Miller-Mackey, so both ladies have a couple of strikes on the scoreboard. And that's always exciting for the crowd, exciting for the television audience. I think even for them, when you see 2 bowlers so close. Both ladies, 2 strikes in a row, 7th and 8th frames. Up in the 9th and 25. 25 is good.
Yeah, Dana's been pretty lined up. She just didn't catch that ball. She leaked it to the left. There is a little brazen conditioner or strip of conditioner to the left there. She see all the way out to about 5 there. She was only out to about 7 or 8 on her last shot. So she hit that next strip of conditioner and the ball didn't come back.
.163 in the 8th for Dana Miller-Mackey. A 2-pin advantage for Carol Giannotti-Block as she steps up in the 9th on lane 26.
She could shut out Matt here in the 9th and 10th if she continues to strike.
A 10.
Bit of a soft 10 pin there. Same thing Dana's been doing with the 7 pin. Get to look at it. See, she's crossing about the 5th arrow, getting out somewhere around 15, coming back a little soft, though, 6 pin late in the channel.
Carol Giannotti-Block, I'll tell you. There are many categories that you measure success, but the easiest one is dollar signs. Alita Sillo's on top, but 2 of our bowlers here tonight, Carol Giannotti-Block and Dana Miller-Mackey, are in the top 5, $38,000 and $1,000 respectively. And they both would like to add more dollars to that tally with a win.
Alita Sill on top by virtue of that U.S. Open victory.
Yeah, that pushed quite a few people up. Alita Sill popped. Again, 10 sticking around for her.
That was a better shot. That ball drove harder. 6 pin kind of wrapped around the 10. Sometimes when you're playing a real deep inside angle like that, unfortunately you're going to leave some 10 pins.
Dana Miller-Mackey not watching.
Here's the ball hitting the pins. It's driving here. Just quite not enough. 6 pin flew around the 10. Great spare technique.
Is she looking at 223 best case scenario?
For Dana, Carol right here will shoot 203 with a strike. If Dana strikes out, she'll shoot 213. So Dana, if Carol, pin count's real important here.
Right here.
Right.
Shots.
She strikes, she'll get 203. That would mean Dana would have to double to win or strike spare to tie.
So it's the 203 for Carol Giannotti-Block. Dana Miller-Mackey steps up, working on a spare in the 9th.
It's 2 strikes here. If she would strike on her, has to strike on her first shot. And if she'd spare after that, we would have a tie. In which case, we'd go to a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. And again, taking the ball left, didn't catch that shot, same as the 9th frame shot. The best she could shoot now would be 201 if she picks this up. It's a difficult spare.
Open frame, so it's all over. 189 for Dana Miller-Mackey, a 203 for Carol Giannotti-Block, and Carol Giannotti-Block moves up the step ladder, and she is going to face our next competitor, Dee Davidson. So we'll be back with match number 2, Dee Davidson and Carol Giannotti-Block after this. Hey, ESPN sports fans, there's more to Omaha than Rosenblatt Stadium. This is the aquarium at the zoo, the Henry Durley Zoo, a recreational hotspot for fans of all sports. Recreation, Omaha, Nebraska is the place to be. If you were with us just a few minutes ago, you saw Carol Giannotti Block defeat Dana Miller-Mackey 203 to 189 in the first match. She now moves on to our second southpaw and our final southpaw here at the Maplewood Lanes, and that would be Dee Dee Davidson. Again, veteran experience, Dee Dee Davidson, 14-year pro, Carol Giannotti Block, 11-year pro.
Everyone with experience except for Michelle Feldman this week. And I think part of the reason for that, I'm sure, is the lane conditioning. Players had to play very deep left, walk around ball returns, move up on the approach. They had to do a lot of different things that you learn over the years. Ball hitting light, look at all those pins dancing. You would think something would knock the 7 down, but no go.
The 7 got shoved. If it stayed put, it probably got knocked down. That she took care of that, marking in the first. As Dee Dee Davidson steps up for the first time. She's from Woodland Hills, California. She is sponsored by Dan and Wanda Dewitt. She's also on the Continental Amateur Bowlers, Inc. She's also on Contour's staff. Represents a lot of people. In 1997, she cashed in 14 of 17 events. She knows what she's doing. Getting that 7 stuck like glue.
Corners are going to be tough to get out tonight, it looks like. Dee Dee's a powerful left-hander. A lot of ball speed. Powerful release. She's going to change balls here to shoot at the 7-pin.
She had the highest average at 227.62.
She did.
Fractions ahead of Carol Giannotti Block's 227 average. But she qualified third and misses this opportunity to mark in the opener.
Tough way to start. The other ball's actually going to just take off just a hair, start to turn over.
Right at the end. Right at the end. It looked like it was going for it.
You wouldn't normally see the players miss these kind of spares, but it was difficult to get it over to the corners. 7 for the lefties, 10 for the righties this week.
You saw that was her second TV appearance. Her first was in Omaha. She's having a hard time finding her spot.
Well, she'll get lined up. Dee Dee's a fighter. I just talked about how she came back, you know, after that devastation of the U.S. Open, coming back to make this show. She'll take a couple frames, and I'm sure she'll line herself up.
Hey, you don't get a 227 average by leaving open frame, so I know she's off. You hate to work that hard to open up, though.
She's laughing and smiling, having a good time always. Both of these players very free-spirited. Just go with the flow at all times.
Come on, 7. Again. Trouble for Giannotti in the corner.
Okay, for those of you at home that feel like you're the only one that always hits the pocket and never carries, well, you're wrong, because watch this show. They're having a lot of trouble kicking out the corner pins, and you might want to say, hey, what should they do? I'm sure they're trying things. The pros will make subtle moves. They'll move a little left or right, up or back. They'll make just the slightest change in their release. Try to go a little more roll or a little more hit with the fingers.
Get to that. Have you got a question for a pro? A question like, how do you knock out that 7-pin? Well, send your question in care of the Professional Women's Bowling Association to 7171 Cherryvale Boulevard, and we will try to answer some of your questions on the air in future telecasts. Rockford, Illinois is the state, and 61112 is the zip. She knocked him down in 25. So it's 2 spares and a strike for Carol Giannotti Block. Dee Dee Davidson steps up in the third, working on a spare, down 10.
Okay, Dee Dee was just a little weak in the pocket on this lane. She's probably not going to make much of a move. 218 average on this pair, quite a bit lower than her tournament average, so it wasn't one of her better pairs.
Oh, what?
Well, the ball drove. She got the ball to finish, drive hard, 9-pin standing. It's a true tap. Great shot. She's just going to shoot the spare and go on. You don't make a move for that.
was the player that we talked about in the beginning of the telecast that had that bittersweet experience at the U.S. Open. We asked her what made her decide to come back.
Well, after having a good showing at the U.S. Open a few weeks ago, practicing real hard to try and win again and have that be my next tournament championship, I just didn't really have the desire to bowl. I was up on top and I fell down and I went through every emotion you can possibly think of that whole week, and I just really didn't have the desire to pick up a bowling ball.
I bet she is very happy. Just got another strike for her as she tries to stay within the reach of Carol Giannotti Block. Our second match will continue, but first we have these important messages. 2 spares and a strike defines the first 3 frames for Carol Giannotti Block. She is up on 26, working on that strike.
Look how that ball is just taking off. You have a good camera angle on that. Setting the ball down by the left channel. Good to see it again. Watch where she sets it down.
And watch what happens at the very end.
It's going to just take a dive. And that was actually just turned that ball a hair early, it looked like. Didn't get the projection down the lane, which is one of the things she's been so happy with her equipment. It gets down the lane easier. She can play a normal game.
Did you see that spin back again? I'll tell you, that angle really shows you the ball play.
Well, she wrote a new textbook on the spare with that shot. That's not how we really shoot it. Come in from the right normally.
Yeah.
Hit the 3, 6, 10 with the ball, and the ball drives through and take out the 9. But whatever way they fall down.
You know. So it's a strike and a spare in 3 and 4. She's still up by 11. Ten stands.
See how that ball slid a lot longer before it broke into a roll. Actually, broke a little too late. Saying, see, the ball's going to slide. It's actually still sliding here, still sliding. It's going to start breaking into a roll right now. Start to rotate the hit. Pocket.
Again, she's converting tonight, and that is really proving to be the difference in her first match and this match. She really is clearing the deck on those spares.
Spares are going to be important, and that's interesting because it was such a high-scoring tournament, actually. 225 to make the telecast. Pretty high.
13, 10, and 1 in match play, yet she has the highest average.
This was not one of the higher scoring pairs, which is probably what's happening right now. It's a little more realistic. You knocked that one down, Leandra.
2 in a row for Dee Dee Davidson. Now 56 bowlers started. Average to get into the money was 211. To make match play, you had to go up to 217. And as you pointed out, it's pretty lofty to get on TV. 225 just to be in number 5. I mean, it was tough to make it.
And that was definitely playing a shot that the average person at home would not be accustomed to playing. It's not something you see in your normal league conditions.
No, won't kick out.
That was a real good shot. Real good shot. Blew all those pins over there. Didn't take out the 10. He's not too much in the way of breaks here today. Try to convert. It's still a close match. Just hanging in there.
And she marks. So after the open frame in the first, she has marked every frame. As Carol Giannotti Block steps up. In the 6th, her maximum score, if she strikes out, is 248.
Another 1-pin match.
It curved back high. You knew that wasn't going to happen.
Again, coming a little bit high. Trying to make a move off that last shot. Leave it a 9-pin, but she's happy to 4 it. She can convert the spare.
And she marks as we take a look at some of our other finalists today. Wendy McPherson, Anne-Marie Dugan, Kim Kennedy, Leanne Barrett, Leanne Berta, earlier winner in 1998. Kim Adler, Tammy Turner, Carolyn Dorn Ballard, who is in the truck right now helping us with our stats, and Liz Johnson go 10 through 13. And we are back to action here. Carol Giannotti block on 20. And she knocks him down in the 7th in a match that's all tied up. So round number 2 continues here at the Maplewood Lanes. Spring season, very close in 1998. This is John Badiato. He is the co-proprietor of Maplewood Lanes, and he should be smiling because his staff really put on a great effort this week to support the Professional Women's Bowling Association, and the payoff is going on right now. We've had an exciting first round match, and things are very close in our 7th frame in the 2nd round. Dee Dee Davidson is dead even with Carol Giannotti block and is working on a spare. What was that? She needs to strike, and she did.
Pinfall there. Kind of split the rack. Well, Dee Dee's bowling this one. This for her parents in a way. Want to say hi to them. Dave and Lori wishes they could be out here.
Well, she didn't commit till just a couple of days before the tournament, so I understand why they're not here. Hard to get those Super Saver fares when you get 24 hours notice. Best case scenario for her is 237. Again, those sticky corners.
And this is frustrating for the professionals, just the same as it is for you at home.
Yeah.
They know they're making good shots. They're doing what they think they want to do, but the pins aren't falling.
But the difference is they pick up the spares, and at home, we leave them. Present company excluded.
Okay. It's a good thing she got that after that comment.
Put the pressure on her. Yeah, look at her.
Okay, Carol working on a strike here. She can jump into the lead by 10 pins if she can make a double here on 26.
Dog.
Dog, I think she's saying.
It's hard to tell with that Australian accent. I thought she was saying don't. He thought it was dog.
Again, ball little bit weak. See the 6 pin? It's laying down in the channel. She needs just a little more turn at the mid again, but every time she tries to do it, she punches the nose. She having what an over/under type reaction. She may want to try changing balls.
All right, in 1998, the high average folks are the folks who have been on television tonight. Dana Miller-Mackey on top, followed by Carol Giannotti Block, and then it's Liz Johnson, Carolyn Dorn Ballard, and Tish Johnson in number 5. Veterans reigning supreme in 1998. There, she got it. And that is just her 3rd strike of the match. It comes in the 9th frame.
In this game, she's striking
Very
on
low.
lane 25, but not on 26. No strikes this game on 26. She's going to have to finish on that lane.
Dee Dee Davidson's working on a spare. She has had 3 strikes in this match.
2 on this lane right here, 26, and 1 on lane 25. She needs to set one up to stay even.
You just saw she has a 215 average for the year. She 227 average. Be there, and it is her 4th strike off the spare in the 9th. She needs to strike out and put the pressure on Giannotti Block.
This was a great shot. A lot of fingers in this ball, driving real hard. No chance for the 7 pin to stand.
Doesn't get any closer than this. These 2 bowlers are even. Almost matching shot for shot. They strike in the same frames, they spare in the same frames, they even have the same pin count in their spares. Which is sort of unusual when you have a lefty and a righty.
Almost a horrible break. Still a little bit of a bad one, but it's fortunate to knock out the 10 pin. Half pocket head pin off the wall. Pin stacking up there in the corner, pushing out the 10 pin.
That was very, very lucky. It's funny how one pin can throw the whole match.
No problem with that spare. Didi, a much improved spare shooter. She's been much more successful in the last year just by virtue of picking those spares.
Carol's not even watching that, but she's looking at the score.
Well, it's important for Didi to strike. Fill all 10 here. She'll shoot 197.
187.
And then
If she gets the strike.
if she strikes, and Carol Giannotti block would spare strike would tie. She'd need the first strike to win.
Oh, that time she left the railroad.
Unbelievable, and that count is huge.
Oh,
That's huge because now Carol Giannotti block can go 9 spare 9 and win the match. What a tough break for Didi all the way through the match, really, except for the second frame. She made all good shots, didn't carry.
but it isn't over.
No.
She's still got to perform.
It's a mark and good count.
There's a big mark. Big mark. El Grande mark.
That'll do it. Just need
Again,
to
this
keep
is
the ball in the lane.
This is a low-scoring match, though. This is only her 4th strike, as you see Didi Davidson's cash count to $2,800. Only her 4th strike in the match. Hits it high, but this time the corner falls for her. So Carol Giannotti Black defeats Didi Davidson. When we come back, we'll have you take out your calendar and you'll see what's coming up in the PWBA. Welcome back to the Maplewood Lanes in Omaha, Nebraska for the second tournament on the Professional Women's Bowling Association Spring Tour. After this stop, the PWBA is on the move to Davenport, Iowa for the 1998 WIBC Queens. That's where Sandra Jo Odom is the defending champion, having defeated Audrey Mullen 209 to 185, and that won her first major title. Miller Time Bowl in Davenport, Iowa hosts the tournament running through May 16th. The finals will be televised on ESPN May 19th at 2 p.m. And then it's on to the greater St. Louis area and the St. Clair Bowl in Fairview Heights. That's the final stop of the spring tour, the St. Clair Classic in Illinois. Now, this is the first time the PWBA will be visiting Fairview Heights, and fans will have a chance to bowl with the pros on Saturday and Sunday, May 16th and 17th, with the tournament running through May 21st. PWBA fans will see all of the action televised in the Sepp Ladder Finals on Wednesday, May 27th at 1 p.m. The Professional Women's Bowling Association then takes a 7.5-week hiatus before the 6-week summer tour begins with the Lehigh Valley Classic Pro-Am in Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's Sunday, July 12th. Now, all 6 finals of the summer tour will be televised on ESPN. And that's a look ahead at the PWBA Spring and Summer Tour schedule. Stay with us. The semifinal match of the Omaha Open is next. Welcome back. A little-known fact about bowling is that on July 10th, 1997, in Danville, Virginia, Michelle Feldman created history with the first televised 300 game by a woman. Now I'm going to ask you a little trivia. Who did she beat when she bowled that 300 game on television?
I better know this. It's my roommate, Carolyn Dornbell.
All right, you knew it. Okay, Michelle Feldman will bowl first. We should add that she not only bowled that on television, she did it in the championship match, which is quite an achievement, especially when you consider she's only been on TV a couple of times in her life.
Only 2 career 300 games, one of them on television.
That's
Absolutely
amazing.
Incredible.
And she starts things off perfectly as Carol Giannotti Block.
Well,
Steps up.
5 strikes on 25, 4 on 26. Pretty even. That one split on lane 26. She struck more on 26 the first game, more on the second game. So lanes have been changing for a little bit. And every time she tries to get the ball to finish a little more, she's on the nose of Brooklyn. She's definitely stuck in between here. Watch if she may go to a different ball and try and get something that'll get down the lane a little bit more, or hook up a little sooner and move deeper, one or the other. But she's winning her matches. And that's where you get into the decision, hey, do I just keep doing what I'm doing? Is it good enough?
You know, we had talked earlier about her converting these spares, and she's just really been flawless tonight. We should add to our viewers at home that these bowlers drill a lot of balls.
Sure.
And it's not like folks who just have one or two balls. These bowlers, for every lane condition, every situation, they modify their grips, and that really helps you understand the science of it.
Here's another one of the weak 10s. And again, every time she projects the ball right, slides a little long, half pocket, 6-pin lays in the channel. You're right, Leandra. Most of these players have, 20, 30 bowling balls with them, all different situations. And they know their equipment, and they're pretty educated about what to go to when they need to. And it is a lot different than bowling at home. And most of you at home can't afford to have that many bowling balls.
And match play, there are the numbers, 279 to 233. Interestingly, that 279 kind of moved her up to this number 2 step-ladder finals.
She was tied for 4th going in. Ball coming high.
Now, it was just about to mention that MasterCard gives $50,000 to the woman who bowls .300 on television. The folks at MasterCard just exhaled when she left this room. She makes a nervous ball. Well, it looked right. Skipped out.
Yeah, ball just took to the last minute. Not something out in 10.
So a strike and an open sums up the first 2 frames for Michelle Feldman.
This ball drives straight through, barely caught the 6-10.
Need to be just a little.
That was a little bit of a tough spare too, because if you got it a little farther over, there was that strip of oil, and it would hit it, it would slide, and then you'd miss the 3-pin. Spare shooting was not the easiest thing. Different ball. She made a ball change there.
You could see that. So strike, open, strike for Michelle Feldman. 2 spares for Giannotti Block as she steps up in the 3rd.
Well, I think Carol's going to need to start striking, find a way to carry, because I think Michelle will.
I think she was listening to you. 203 and 205 are her 2 scores so far tonight. Now, previous winner last year it was Leanne Barrett. Before that, Tammy Turner. Wendy McPherson won it in '95, and Marianne DeRuper, our top qualifier, she won it back in 1994. 2 spares and a strike for Carol Giannotti Block.
Let's see if she can figure this out. There it is. That ball drove nice.
There's a pair for Carol. She takes the seat. Michelle Feldman's just 22 years old. She's from Minneapolis, New York. She's sponsored by her grandparents, Guy and Linda Feldman. And on this pair, she was quite successful with 246.
And the same result on this lane with the different ball. It was interesting to me that somebody with such little experience on TV, after 1 shot on each lane, changed balls. But she had a great reaction on 25. Same problem on 26, ball jumping high. Just to keep her speed up, it's normally not a problem for her. She throws the ball about 20 miles per hour.
Oh. Try to go for a pin count there and try to brush the other side of the pin. But Michelle Feldman bowled a .300 on TV. What did that do for her career? Well, we asked her, and she told us.
Well, I go into certain places and people recognize me. It's nice to know that people actually watch and people pay attention to what's going on, and they watch bowling and they like to watch us. And I've had people come to me that in the middle of somewhere I would not expect, like at a McDonald's and places like that, and at a Red Lobster, and it's fun. It's nice to know that people recognize me, and I have more fans and more people come to watch, and it's cool.
You know what's really cool? People are probably laughing at the McDonald's Red Lobster thing, but that points out that she's just not getting recognized in the bowling centers.
Right.
It shows that the people in all walks of life are catching her. And that's great. And that's what you like to hear in the PWBA. She marks in the 5th. 2 strikes for Carol Giannotti Block as she steps up on lane 26.
Michelle sitting down making motions to people, laughing about that shot. 10 pin again, and she really hasn't solved the problem here. But I looks like I might have been wrong. Michelle's not striking, so 9 spare may be good enough. This ball again, sliding a little long. Look at that. Again, half pocket. It's the same hit we've seen over and over.
Once again, the master of spare knocks it down.
And trust me, she is not doing the same thing every shot.
No, she's
making
working
subtle
it.
moves.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is working it. And you can see where experience is really a factor here tonight.
But when you get on a condition like this, and especially she knows that she makes that little move, and then she's on the nose, well, you don't want to do that. And the way scores appear tonight, 9 spare is good.
258, best case scenario. She'll max out if she can strike. And 10.
Totally frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm in the song.
And she's thinking, you can really see the wheels are turning. What else can I do? She is doing everything.
Looks like she's made some adjustments with speed and angle and roll.
Nothing's working. So Carol Giannotti Block is enjoying a lead, but I wouldn't call it a comfortable lead because anything can happen here at Maplewood Lanes in Omaha, Nebraska. We will continue with the semifinals, but first, this. Do you remember what I said before we went to the break, that nothing is for sure? Well, while we were away, Michelle laid down the juice, putting more pressure on Carol Giannotti Block, who responded beautifully with a strike of her own.
Isn't that interesting? As soon as Michelle doubled, Carol flush.
That strike came off a spare in the 6th. Her lead has dwindled off the double to 25 pins. It was 35 when we went into the break. There you see the numbers.
She can take it right back to 35 here with another strike.
Sticky, but not tonight. Or not on that shot, I should say. Look at it, still spinning down there.
Well, the lanes may be settling in, a little bit carry down. Maybe the players are going to start strike and carry those pins, those corner pins.
Her high and low games this week. 290. You know, Michelle has been that bowler. She has a turkey now, 6, 7, and 8. 39th in Lubbock, 23rd in Huntsville, 10th in Jacksonville, 32nd Sebring.
Look at that shot. What power and velocity this lady has. She gets so much rotation on the ball. As I mentioned, throws about 20 miles per hour. This week was thrown around 21, 22 miles per hour. Throws her spares at about 24 miles per hour.
Talk about the up and down. She was 60th, 6th in it. So look at her string them together. Well, she gets herself right back into this ball game.
Well, she's starting to project the ball right now. She was squeezing it, gripping it, and tugging it early on in the match. She's comfortable now, just freewheeling. Yeah.
Make that a turkey.
Picked out that 10 pin that time, half pocket, but the pin split.
She is up in the 10th on lane 25, working on 3 in a row.
Well, the best Michelle Feldman could shoot would be 222. Carol Giannotti Block just needs to fill in spare here.
This time it's a 7.
She's spare, she'll at 206 in the 9th. She would need 7 pins on her fill ball to shut out Michelle.
Well, you know, she really helped her with her footing. I saw her put a little bit of rosin on her foot because I don't think she liked her slide on the first shot. On the second shot, you actually saw her stumble a little bit.
She's brushing her shoe, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's using a brush. She's roughing up the sole, and what that does, she's sliding too much, probably. Roughing up the sole, create a little more friction so she doesn't slide as much. That's enough.
But it's a moot point. 225 for Carol Giannotti Block as Michelle Feldman finishes 3rd, her best finish of 1998. a long strike in my life. So Michelle Feldman is on her way to striking out, but it matters not because it is Carol Giannotti Block who moves up the ladder to meet our top qualifier right after this. It is time for the championship frame, so we'll recap all of the action. The PWBA is going to have to change its name to the Carol Giannotti Block Show because she opened with a defeat of Dana Miller-Mackey, 203-189. Then it was Carol Giannotti Block again with a defeat of Dee Dee Davidson, 205-195 in the second match.
Those scores would not have been enough this match. Carol Giannotti Block finally having to figure out how to get the corner pins out. Does so just like this, throwing a string of strikes.
Boom, that's right, Carol Giannotti Block, as she defeated Michelle Feldman 225-208. We've seen Giannotti Block's numbers climb with each match, 203, 205, 225, and now she's got one more person to overcome to get her first title of 1998. And who is that person? Our top qualifier, Marianne DeRupo. They'll be ready to bowl right after this. We already introduced one co-proprietor here, John Battiato. Well, this is the other co-proprietor at Maplewood Lanes here in Omaha, Jeannie Bielitz. Of course, both of our co-proprietors are on hand enjoying the competition, but this is what it's all about, the hardware. That is the trophy for the Omaha Open. Beautiful crystal. You just saw Marianne DeRupo shake hands with Carol Giannotti Block. Carol's going to bowl first on lane 25.
And lane's very even now for Carol. She looked like she lined them both up toward the end of the match, found her way to the lane. And as I say that, she goes Brooklyn. Leaving just the three, she's happy with that. A little bit of a break, and you see her motioning. She didn't project the ball to the right.
First time we've seen her leave the 3. We've seen the 7, we've seen the 10, occasionally the 9.
Well, this lady has one goal left in her mind for bowling, and that's to be a bowler of the year. And she's well on her way. One of the top players, as we mentioned. A win here would really help her boost her in that race.
Ironically, she's had the most TV appearances of 1998, but she hasn't yet won. She would really like to get over the top of that. This is Marianne DeRupo of Succossona, New Jersey, a 7-year pro. And what an athlete this woman has been. Former All-America at the collegiate level in softball.
Crossovers. There is a beautiful crossover on the Brooklyn.
Take a look at this. She loves this city. In 1994, she was the champion after qualifying 4th. In 95, she finished 2nd after qualifying 3rd. 96, 19th, still in the money. 97, finished 4th after qualifying 3rd. In 1998, she's the top qualifier. Worst she can do is 2nd place. Now, she already defeated Carol Giannotti Block, 258-182.
Now, it's interesting as we talked about Marianne and her defeat at the U.S. Open, ending up 3rd because of the format with the brackets. But there's always a luck factor. This week, Marianne was 4th in pin count, but the top seed as a result of her match play, 16 wins. Again, crossing over. Going Brooklyn, when she was warming up, she was using a ball with a little bit more surface and duller. She had dulled the ball a little bit, was trying to tame down her reaction, or maybe trying to get lanes to break down a bit. Now the shinier ball, back ends break hard for her.
Her average, 226. Play that match play factor thing. She doesn't have the highest average, but she was very successful in the match play.
16 wins, 7 losses, 1 tie. 30 bonus pins per win.
Okay, back on.
Leaving the 4-pin, but back in the pocket. Right now, it's been working for her the whole time, stay in the pocket. She did have to carry a few at the end of that last match. Well, she wants to say hello to Neil, her husband, and she'll see him in a couple of weeks.
The Professional Women's Bowling Association has adopted an Adopt-A-Pro philosophy. If you want to be a member of one of the biggest growing fan clubs around, stop by the fan club booth at any of the tournament stops in your area, or you can write to the PWBA Adopt-A-Pro at Box 34, Byers, Texas, 76357. You'll receive pictures, photos, and a certificate of your favorite PWBA member. It's a great way to learn a little bit more about your favorite pro.
Good shot on that one, coming in light, 7-pin rock and nothing falling. There's also an ambassador club program that's handled through the PWBA, and you can go through the Rockford office on that, 7174 Boulevard, 61192. All sorts of ways to get involved with the tour and learn who the players are.
Now, she enjoyed bowling on this TV pair with a 235, almost 236 average on lanes 25 and 26.
It's another lady with a lot of second place finishes, only 4 wins to her credit.
I thought she was going to get a split with that.
Yeah, again crossing over.
She's working on a spare in a second.
She made a ball change on that shot, and that ball crossed over the same as the last ball he had.
In addition to reaching All-America status in softball while she was in college at South Carolina, she was a high school all-state athlete in 3 sports, softball, basketball, and field hockey. She rolled on the weekends until she had time for it. And now look at her today.
Alita Sill finishing up 14th. Brenda Norman, Kendra Cameron, and Tori Romeo making a good finish this week. Cheryl Daniels, Sandra Jo Odom, Lisa Wagner, and Kim Straw, both ladies shooting the only 300s this week. Michelle Mullen, Jody Ellis, and Carol Norman back in the finals in 24th.
I'm glad Carol Norman did well. She's from right here in Oklahoma City, though. This is the championship match. And we saw one frame, and now we see our second as she puts one down in the 4th.
A shot on lane 25. Ball sliding, finishing hard. Good shot.
3 spares. Again, it's coming back high on her. Sitting that 1 pin right in the nose.
Same thing that's been going on the whole time. Again, knowing now she has to carry, thinking Marianne may be lined up with that ball that she just went to.
Remember, her previous scores were 203, 205, 225. Again, she marks for the 4th time, but we've seen no strikes from Pearl Giannotti Block so far in this championship match.
Just 3 pins down, though. I tell you, those spares have definitely kept her in, as you mentioned earlier. Great year last year. Great year for this lady. In 97, 11 shows, 3 wins, second in earnings with 142,000, and yet did not get both the year player of the year. Surpassed her in all those areas.
Yeah, in 1997, 12 times she was in the top 5.
I think he was, right. Huge year. Carol's year normally would have been enough to win a Bowler of the Year race, or at least a runner-up. Didn't do that even. Carolyn Dorn Ballard was runner-up to Player of the Year.
I think that's what makes things tough. Is she knocks down her 5th frame and her 5th spare rather in 5 frames. It's when you do your best and you get the great numbers and you're still short.
She's leading by 4. She can increase it to 14.
Teetering, but yeah, that was.
Sent that one wide. Her last shot on 25, she kept real tight. This one she projects right. Ball still going right, getting out to about the 10th board, and it's not going to get back. She's into that strip of conditioner. Leaving the 2-4-10. She wants to hit the left side of the 2 pin here and slide it over into the 10.
Tough shot to make, and she doesn't do it. You know, at the U.S. Open, she had the lead. Yet this week, despite her success in Milford, Connecticut, she changed her grip. We asked her why.
Well, in the beginning of the year, I never really got comfortable. I felt like I was losing my ball at my release point, and my lay-down points were really inconsistent. A day before I come out to this stop, I was really indecisive if I should change my grip. I figured for 3 weeks, I should just hang with it for 3 more weeks. I bowled well at the Open, but my roommate suggested, hey, give it a try. You got 3 weeks, you got nothing to lose. You could always go back to the old grip. So it happened to work out very well for me this week.
And the irony of ironies is that her roommate is Alita Sill. She gave her that advice after the U.S. Open. Guess who won the U.S. Open? Alita Sill. We will continue with our championship match here in Omaha, Nebraska. Don't go away. It's going to be exciting right down to the wire. 5 spares in a row for Carol Giannotti block, and that's enough to give her a 10-pin lead. Not exactly. Of the match comes in the 6th frame.
She lofted that ball out on the lane. Carol normally sets it very short on the lane, very close to the foul line. A little better projection, a little more loft on that shot. Was able to get it down the lane and conserve the energy to carry the 10.
245 is her maximum score should she strike out. She doesn't punch out for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time tonight. She knocks down 9 pins with her first shot.
She's telling herself to stay down. She obviously pulled up on that shot at the foul line. Didn't get the good revolution on the ball she wanted.
Again, another spare. What a lesson this is for everyone. How important those spares are.
They're extremely important, and so many people, especially the more they start to strike, the more they lose their concentration or their interest in their spares because their focus is on strikes. You need to keep the focus on spares also.
You know, Marian DeRupo said in that interview that we had that she wasn't happy with her recent grip. When you're a beginning bowler, a bowler can only go once a week. How do you know if your rhythm is right? How do you know if it's inconsistent? What do you do?
Well, for the most part, if you're only bowling once a week, you're not bowling enough to be really consistent. But you can tell if you're dropping the ball almost every shot you make, or if you're hanging up almost every shot you make. The fit is probably not proper for you, and you probably should go to your pro shop and have them relook at it. Because they're pretty much guessing towards that spare nicely. In fact, if you're just going to a fingertip grip and it's your first time, it's tough. They're making a guess on the fit, and it may not be right. Don't be afraid to go back and ask them to try something different for you. But number one, if you want to be consistent, you need to bowl more than once a week. So look at that grip.
This is the new one.
It's hard to see, but what she did is she changed her pitches, her forward pitch in her thumb from 5/8 to 7/8, and she shortened up her span 1/16. The ball cleaner.
So off a spare in the 7th, she strikes in the 8th. 4 strikes for DeRupo in this championship match.
And the release looks pretty consistent here today. Nice tight line, just flipping over at the tail end.
Carol Giannotti, she's working on a spare in the 7th. Her pin count here doesn't help that spare too much. 6 and a split on that.
No, she got that ball right a little bit early. Into the drawing and picked up. She needs to convert this. In order to stay in the lead, she'll have to convert it. Needs to hit the right of the 3-pin. She's going to throw her ball. She's going to back it up. Wow.
Back 2, and now she has an open frame. And this really opens up Marian.
There's 2 schools of thought. You can back it up here and try and just nick the right side of the 3-pin, which is what she did, just missed it, or you could hook the ball into the 3-pin and try and shoot it over.
That's the 7th. Oh, again. Deja vu all over again.
Wow. She's a little bit confused, setting the ball earlier. Actually, as she projected the ball out on the lane more, she had a better line to the pocket. The earlier you set it, the earlier your ball's going to hook.
She did it right, too. What a shame. A second open frame for Carol Giannotti block as she sits on a 148 in the 9th.
And here, great shot. Look at this 3-pin sliding over. You would think, didn't hit it going by, but it would come back. No.
The maximum score will be a 215. She comes up high.
Marianne is still going to need to stay clean here, because if she would just spare strike, fill 20 frames, she'd shoot 185. That would be enough to win. The best Carol Giannotti block can shoot is 178. So Marianne's going to need a mark here and a mark in the top.
No problem getting the mark in the 9th. So off the strike in the 8th, she gets a spare in the 9th. Those two open frames just killed Carol.
Well, she needs a mark here in order to give that birthday present to her niece Alex that she wanted to today. That would be a victory. Wow. Fortunate to break up the split.
Yeah, same thing. Identical shot.
Missed that last shot. A little bit left to target. Maybe not quite the velocity she had on the last shot either. Jumping up high, but kicking out the 7. She'll need to convert to 6-10. Actually, we'll need a spare in 6 pins to secure a victory.
And she successfully got the spare on this identical shot in the last frame. Did it again. She's looking at the scoreboard now. She's really looking at it, doing the quick math.
Well, 6 pins would give her 179. That would defeat Carol Giannotti block. She's been high.
She has never had, I'm talking about Marianne DeRupo, she's never had 6 pins tonight. She's struck, she's had 9s, 7s, pair of 8s for first shots. So Marianne DeRupo gets her first title of 1998.
Well, she's been snake bitten on TV, but not this time.
What's sad for Carol Giannotti block is this represents the 4th time in 1998 that she has finished 2nd. 4th time the bridesmaid. And she leaves it open and finishes with a 157 and 2nd place. And this is your champion, Marianne DeRupo. We'll be back with our check and trophy presentation right after this. The Omaha Open is brought to you by AMF Bowling Worldwide, the largest owners and operators of bowling centers in the world and one of the leading makers of bowling products. AMF always means fun. And by MasterCard. There are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. There is your winner, Marianne DeRupo, 183 to 157, the champion. And now to answer a trivia question, no, that isn't the lowest scoring victory. Back in 1985, Lisa Wagner bowled a 179 to win a television match. So you're not the lowest one there, but it was a very hard-fought victory, and nothing was decided until the very end. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. It was a tough match. Carol bowled well all the way to the end, and the lanes were just a little bit different tonight.
And you adjusted very well in the beginning, but I know you're anxious now to meet Jeannie Bielitz. She is one of the co-proprietors here at Maplewood Lanes, and she's got something to say to you.
Marianne, enjoy this. Take this home and go on a cruise or something.
And what this says, if you want to hold it up, is $9,000. And that is the first place prize money. And now for the other part of winning, Let's go to John Badiato, if he'll step out here and make the trophy
Hi,
presentation.
Marion. Congratulations. We have the second bowl for you. Now you have two, and Maplewood Lanes would like to officially adopt you. And okay? Again, there is your bowl.
Well, I love coming to Maplewood Lanes. Everybody's wonderful here. Y'all can adopt me. Just talk to Gail for the Adopt a Pro program, and anybody can adopt me and just take my picture home. That's all you want. I want to thank Jeannie. I want to thank John, Todd, everybody here at Maplewood Lanes. It's pretty obvious why I love this place. 2 out of 4. It's just not bad. Thank you very much.
1994 and 1998. Congratulations, Marianne.
Marianne, the lanes did look tough out there. You made a ball change early on. What was going on?
Well, I came in with a different game plan. My ball rep, Jimmy Callahan, and Alita Silver on the side, and everything I had was skidding too far, and I noticed that there was a little bit of hang down the lane, so I went with a little more surface. But by the time I came on, I couldn't get the ball through the front part of the lane, so I went with the whiplash, the AMF whiplash, which helped me get the ball through the front part of the lane, and it gave me a little more room. But they were really touchy tonight. Carol bowled really well to get all the way up the stepladder, and I just happened to get lucky and got some breaks.
So does this make you forget the U.S. Open?
Well, unfortunately, it will be in the back of my mind for a while, but this can't be any sweeter. I finally got the monkey off my back.
You certainly did. Your last trophy was in 1997 in Rockford, and now she starts off 1998 with a big win in the springtime. Marianne DeRupo, the Omaha Open champion. Congratulations to you. Some fine bowling tonight from all of the women. So for Jan Schmidt, I'm Leandra Riley saying so long from Maplewood Lane, where Marianne DeRupo is the champion. Now, be sure to be with us on May 27th at 1 p.m. for the prestigious WIBC Queens Championship. Once again, this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.